Over to you, Mariam.
Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming for today's webinar session. I'm very delighted. You are most welcome for today's session. Everyone that has spared their beautiful time to come and join us for today's session, I welcome you all. I am by the names of Mariam Nasozi, and I'm delighted to be your moderator for today's session that is brought to you by Vision Africa AI in partnership with Global Skills Development Center, our education arm under our partnerships. And then also Jim Roberts, also HLB Jim Roberts, one of our partners, and NBS TV, as well as the Uganda Institute of Bankers, the Ghana Institute of Bankers and Financial Services. For those seeing me for the first time, I am a business and marketing profession, passionate about digital transformation and AI and creating opportunities for businesses and professionals to embrace emerging technologies. I am also part of the team behind Vision Africa AI, and it's my pleasure to be hosting today's conversation. But before we dive deep, I'd like to recognize and welcome our directors and leaders who are joining us today. I don't know if they're already in the chat. Dr. James Onyoin, Mr. Julius Torach, Mr. Julius Kenneth Okurt, Madam Millie Rugani. I don't know if they're already in the chat, already in the meeting. But if they're not there, would like to thank them for the good leadership towards Vision Africa AI. Thank you for joining us today. And as we continue to support towards this initiative, I'd just like to take you through about today's agenda that we have. Our main topic today is from manual to autonomous, building your first finance agent. AI is really moving, and AI is really moving AI is moving beyond simply helping us to just generate information, but now we are seeing AI emerging and help businesses support processes, automate tasks, and make decisions within the defined businesses, and define boundaries and help businesses to work more efficiently. So for finance professionals, this presents a very exciting opportunity for you to learn and gain a skill or to understand how you can use AI to do most of that manual work that you do in the finance department. So before I go further, allow me to just introduce our speaker for today, Mr. Paul Ikopit. He's going to be our speaker for today, and he's going to lead us through this session for us to better understand of how AI works. So allow me read his profile. Allow me read his profile as we continue. Mr. Paul Patrick Ikopit has an MBA. He is a CPA from Kenya and has a bachelor's in BCom accounting. Mr. Paul is a senior consultant in corporate governance and relationship development with over 3 decades of experience in oil, telecommunication, and fintech sectors. He has held senior positions within the major multinational companies across Africa and the Middle East, including Shell, MTN, Safaricom, Virgin Mobile, and On Africa. In addition to his financial background, he is well grounded in areas of business, including strategy, commercial, technology, people, culture, and many more others. And before I step out to give the floor to Mr. Paul Ikopit, be reminded that you can put any question as he's taking us through this session. Put your questions in the chat. They will be attended to. This is going to be really an interactive session where we expect people to ask questions. We expect you to ask as many questions for you to help us know that you have understood and whatever that we are giving out to you is of value and of use to you. Mr. Paul Ikopit, I think you can turn on your camera. People are ready to receive you.
All right, thank you very much, Mariam. I hope you can see me, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can see you, I can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone on the show today. My name is Paul Ikopit, and I've already been introduced. And thank you for joining us. I will dive straight into sharing my screen and walking you through what we have here for you today. So I just want to pitch this thing right so that we all know at what level we will expect to land the plane today. So this training is called From Manual to Automated.
Mr. Paul, I think your voice is down.
Okay. Is it better now? Okay, that's fine.
A little bit.
All right, I'll speak a bit louder.
Okay.
All right, so who is this training intended for? Because when you see from the title, it's building your first finance AI agent. So this training here is tailor-made for, number one, some of those people who do not know what an AI agent is or agent AI is. Many might know what it is, but have never stepped up from just prompting, asking AI a few questions, which is prompting. And importantly as well, it's for the managers of staff who perform certain routine processes on a regular basis so that they can know what to expect from them. Because as a manager, if you don't know what your people are able to do, then you're not really on top of everything, and you will not know how to challenge them to deliver to their capacity. So it's also for those managers to know what to expect from their staff, and also to expect from their technology departments, because AI has to be highly supported by the tech team. Because we as lay people, you can see my background, I'm not an IT person. We as lay people can only do so much, but the entire infrastructure is managed by the technology teams. But we still need to understand what we want the technology teams to do. So that's the purpose of this, so that we can get to understand how you move ahead after learning how to prompt. Because I believe by now everyone has prompted more than 1,000 times, and we all assume we're super prompters by now. Okay, so that's what the training is. These are the people that training is targeted to, and these are just basics. This is 101 to see how you step up from prompting towards getting to agent AI. So how does the training flow? So number one is a bit of testing a bit of our ability to prompt. Many people think prompting is you just ask questions. Prompting, you can also give an instruction. So we're going to see how that happens. And once we've done a prompt and understood to what extent we can prompt, there are three terms we need to know and differentiate. What is a prompt? What is a skill? And what is an agent? So those are different terms used for different tasks that people use when they are interrogating and making use of AI. Then we shall go through a prompt to perform a task. After we perform that task, we need to understand what we call connectors. So connectors is basically interfaces between AI and different applications that you use. Because the moment you start getting into skilling and AI levels, you've got to learn how to use connectors, or at least understand what a connector is before you request assistance on the connections, because connecting can expose you. You've got to do it cleverly, and you've got to do it with the support of your technology team. Then once you've understood collectors, then we can now go to see how to build and update a skill from a prompt. So that prompt graduates to become a skill. Then from a skill, you can now go up to what you call the agent AI. In this topic, in this training, I'll walk you through that process, because it involves a lot of IT and connecting different systems, but you need to know what you want. So if you can take your skill all the way up, your prompt all the way up to a skill, and you can connect more than one skill to another, you've actually stepped up to the agent AI level, but you need technical support to coordinate all those activities. But we're going to go through them now. Then finally, we shall just walk through some examples of agent AIs that are used in finance and audit. So that's what our training flow is going to look like, but I'm going to have to ask you to exercise a lot of patience, because the kind of instructions we'll be giving AI are not the queries that we normally do in prompts, asking them to list for you the number of countries that speak English, and it gives you the answer. So there's a little more thinking that it has to go through, and it also shows you step by step how it works. So I'm going to use two AI models. I'm going to use a bit of Gemini at the beginning, and then we'll cross over to Claude. Claude has two options. Claude is the co-work, I think, which is more heavy duty and prepared for such tasks. So I hope that's an introduction for us. So step one, I said it's some kind of a revision work on how to create random data tables to run various reconciliation exercises. So I'm going to walk through this prompt. As I read through it, you're going to follow what exactly I'm doing, because the example I want to walk us through today is a reconciliation between a vendor or supplier statement and a creditor's ledger that sits in our finance team. So this is supposed to be very basic, so that next time you want to do a lot more complicated stuff, you actually have a baseline on which to build on. Okay. So I'm sending an instruction to AI. I'm going to use Gemini for this one. And because it's going to take a few minutes, I propose let me copy it across to the tool. And while it's working, we can come back and review the instruction details, all right? Just one moment. So let me copy this over to, where is my Gemini? Here's my Gemini. And I drop it there. All right. So while it's thinking, we can go back to our notes. So the instruction I'm giving Gemini is this. And this is one thing you've got to learn with AI. You have to be patient. And you need to be thorough and clear and concise with your instructions. That's the only way you can get the best out of AI. So wait and see the detail in which I'm actually giving it this instruction. It's the same as telling a buddy at work, give them instructions and tell them not to come back to you for any clarifications. That's how accurate you've got to be with AI to maximize your benefit of it. So I'm telling it instruction one, generate random vendor statements of account for the period 1 July to 30 September 2026 in Excel. Currency is Uganda shillings. The opening balance is 100,000 and the closing balance at end of July should be 200,000, and August 400,000, end of September 500,000, all in favor of the vendor we shall call ABC Stationery Supplies. Okay, so do about 10 transactions per month. Then create 3 Excel files, one for each month, each starting with the opening balance, transactions for the month, and closing balance. Each file name should contain the month and the year to which the transactions belong. Right? That's instruction number 1. Instruction number 2, now create another 3 Excel files. Now, these Excel files we're creating are the ones that we're going to be using to do our work later on during the session. So create another 3 files for the creditors ledger for XYZ Consultants Limited, which will have to be reconciled against the vendor certificate account from ABC Stationery Supplies. The file names should also have the month and year of transactions contained therein. So you have to give it instructions. Assume only 7 or 8 of the transactions on the statement are captured in the creditor's ledger in the same month, and the remaining are only captured the following month. Start with July 2026 with a 0 balance in the creditor's ledger. So you can see how concise I've been, and you've got to be very precise. So you don't rush this thing. Take your time, make sure your prompt is complete. Because when you continue consuming your resources, it also becomes more expensive eventually for you. So this is what we've done. So we're creating the material that we're going to use later in the session. So let me check and see how far it has gone, right? Okay, so it's given me all this stuff. It's asking me which choice I want. And I'm going to be very simple. Let me see. Yes, it's given me my files. So I'm going to tell it to extract for me, generate for me. Let me call it extract. 6 Excel files created. Okay, so I've asked it to extract the files. The reason I need to extract these files is because I need to drop them into a folder, and I'll point Claude to that folder to pick those files out and perform some reconciliation exercise. Okay, so while it picks that up, you can go back to the notes. All right, so what I just did was a prompt. So what is a prompt? There's 3 different levels of capability that we've got in AI. One is a prompt. A prompt is a one-time instruction. So you write it each time. Each time you go back, you've got to write it. So for example, if we did a prompt to reconcile a month of July, then when month of August comes, you go and do another prompt and say reconcile month of August. So you have to write it each time, and there's no memory between sessions. What you did for July ended there. What you did for August ended there. So it's good for quick one-off tasks. Let's see if it's finished. So what is a skill? So a skill builds on a prompt. So a skill is a reusable habit. It's actually an instruction. So you package a prompt plus context in a file. Okay, so the AI invokes it when it applies. So it saves domain context, schemas, naming conventions, examples. It's much bigger than a prompt. We will see it now when we move from a prompt and we build it up to a skill. You'll see the process that you actually follow. It's actually interactive with AI, and sometimes you have to actually give it clarifications. And once you've built it, then it's something that you can set to perform on its own going forward. All right, so let's see where our Excel files are. They're there. Okay, there should be 6 of them. That's one. Let me download it to my download folder. That's number 2. You can see what it's done. It's actually followed our instructions and created transactions, random dates within the month, and it followed our instructions for closing balances. All right? So that's number 2. Let's find number 3. You can download that. So those are the vendor statements. Now let's pick up the creditor statements. Number 4, downloaded. Number 5. And number 6. Right, quick check. We have the files and downloads? Yes. Are they 6? Yes, they are 6. Okay, good. So you can go back to our notes now. So we've given the instruction, we've moved the files into the download folder. Now we know the difference between a prompt, a skill, and an agent. An agent now goes beyond skill. So agent now connects very many skills and can perform 6 or 7 tasks once they have all been built up. But to get an agent, you still have to go through the process of prompting and skilling. Then the agent will handle like 4 or 5 skills in a certain sequence to deliver your requirements. So the rule is start with a prompt. That's what we did. Then move to a skill when it repeats. We're going to look at that now. Then we now move to an agent only when there are multiple steps and tools that are involved. Okay, so I like this saying. So whatever I've quoted here is documentation by a certain Miguel Fierro. So it says most people stay at prompt forever. My kind request is please do not stop at prompt forever. It's not because skills and agents are hard. It's because no one has taught them the difference. So probably we're still prompting because we don't know that skills and agents actually do exist. And this actually takes our usage of AI to another level. Okay, so now we've got our files. Now we want to create a prompt to do a task. So I did that. I generated those files when I was in Gemini. So now I'm moving over to Claude. Now Claude has 2 options. The option I'm using a desktop. So you've got an option of chat and you got an option of co-work. So co-work is more for heavy duty tasks and can run tasks autonomously. So I'm choosing co-work, and so I want to use a prompt to make it do a reconciliation for the month of July for me. Okay, so I'm going to give it an instruction over here. Right? Open these 2 files, reconcile them, and save the reconciliation file in the same folder with a similar name convention. Remember, we told it that it has to put the name of the month and the year within the file, okay? So now I'm going to identify the 2 files, okay? So let me add the files. Now those files are in my downloads folder, and I want the creditors file for July and the supplier statement for July, and I say open, all right? And I can tell it proceed. Now it's going to show me step by step how it's going to perform this task. Shows you step by step and also show you the progress. It takes a few minutes. As I warned you earlier on, we're going to have to exercise a bit of patience. All right, so it wants to know if it can use the running command, right? So I'll allow it to do it for me. It's quite interactive, and while this is working, you can work on other stuff in the meantime. Whenever it needs your attention, it will beep on your screen. There will be a pop-up. Okay, so it should be completing now. All right. It's produced a reconciliation for us. Okay. It's produced a reconciliation for us. And when you never try to sit along your two source files. So it's actually created this. So if you go back and look at our downloads folder, okay, it's not yet saved it there, so we need to give it permission to do that. So where do we go? So the two files tie out cleanly, 9 of 11 transactions matched. After accounting for those two things, statement closing balance is that. The workbook is there, sit alongside your files. So on the right, you can see where it has created a workbook and it's done the reconciliation, right? So it says the statement closing balance is that, ledger closing balance is that, is an item of 50,000 that it cannot find in the ledger, it's on statement. Then when you go to the tab, it shows you how many transactions it is actually matched and reconciled, which transactions on statement only, which transactions on ledger only, which is none. Okay? Okay, so what we've done now is we've just done a prompt. We've given it an instruction to perform an action, which is reconciliation. Now that is a prompt, so next time you want to do the same, you're going to have to come and put in exactly the same prompt. So what we want to do now is tell it, okay, now from this prompt that you've just done, can you build a skill? The beauty of a skill is you can keep upgrading and updating the skill with additional capabilities that you'd want to. So let's come and build a skill for this one. Now that we've done the prompt, okay. So I'm going to read exactly what I've added here. So I'm now telling it, can you build a skill to open those two same files, reconcile them, and save them in the same folder with a convention. Last time we just told it, do it once off as a prompt. Now we want it to create it a skill so that it is more of a permanent nature. Right? Because once you get a skill, it's actually going to be saved somewhere as a skill that you can keep upgrading. So now we're telling it build a skill, so it's going to give it a name. And once you've done that, because I've instructed it to save the file in a given folder, so should the new skill work generally for any vendor statement, like the build-in already does, or be specific to each of those each month? We want this to be a general purpose so that whoever we want to reconcile next time, it will be able to reconcile. So where will these files come from when you run the skill in the future? All right, then you tell it a folder from my computer. All right. So it will say the files we worked with use non-standard columns, etc. Should the skill handle header variations like that automatically, or should it expect the standard reference? No, it should handle automatically. Next time, I might change the headings, right? So it should understand that. So that's where the interaction does come in, because it wants to be very sure of what you're planning to do. Because one thing with a prompt is whatever the output, it doesn't really matter. But with a skill, the AI tries to customize to your need as closely as possible. Okay, so while it's thinking through that, I would like to talk you through what we call connectors, because connectors are going to be very important for you to be able to do skills and eventually agent AI. So connectors are basically your interfaces with other systems. And I did mention that was quite dangerous, because once you connect it to your drive, then it has access to your drive all the time. So you never know what instructions it might do. It might wipe out your drive, might do anything. You've got to do this carefully. That's where your IT department has to come in, and you need to have a proper IT AI governance policy, because those are the kind of things that govern how you can connect AI to your individual files, folders. Okay, so let me just take you to discuss connectors. We'll come back to this. Let me see, where's the connectors? Yes, so connectors allow Claude to access your apps and services. They retrieve your data and take actions with connected devices. It inherits each person's permissions from the connected service. So if your permissions are not properly set up from a connected service, you might give unknown parties access to your folders. If someone can't access a specific folder or file in the source system, the connector cannot reach it from Claude either. So it means you have to have these permissions in advance. Okay, it keeps on saying it's very complex, but I believe because what we see is just on the surface, but it has to build code that runs behind all those actions. And we know code building is not a very simple and short process. Bit more patience, should be about to complete. All right, let's move on while it's waiting. It's thinking quite hard. So I'll just walk through what we shall do with the output of that exercise. So we just did build a skill to open those same two files. So once we've got the skill, our next step is we want to update the skill and give it more instructions than what we basically did. So the next step is we're going to give it an instruction to update this skill as follows. Whenever I choose to run this skill, open the same folder and request me to confirm which month I would like to reconcile. Remember, we did 3 months of data. So the folder has July, August, and September. So I'm telling it, whenever I run this skill, I want you to ask me to confirm which month I would like to reconcile. So why I'm saying that is so that next time, if I save a file for November and December, it will also appear among my choices of files to select for reconciliation. Okay, there you go. It's awaiting input. All right. So what does it tell us here? Okay, I've built, delivered, but not timed against any folder. Important thing while testing. Okay, good. So it says it doesn't have, I've not given it a folder to put these files. Okay, so I need to come here and add a folder so that it knows that this is the folder that we're going to be using. And that's my desktop. And I can now say added folder. You need to give it permission to read and modify what's in that folder. Okay, so while it's still focusing on putting those files in the folder, I was walking you through this additional instruction to update that skill. So the type of instruction you put here has to be well thought out with the end in mind, knowing where you are and where you want to end up. That's the only time you know in advance what kind of instructions. So I just want to read through this again. Update this skill as follows. Whenever I choose to run this skill, open the same folder and request me to confirm which month I would like to reconcile. The resulting reconciliation file should be saved in the same folder using the same naming convention, right? Okay, there you go. So this folder has 3 statement pairs. Which should I reconcile with a corrected skill? All right. So you've already run July. So do you want to rerun July? Do you want to run August? Do you want to run September? Okay. So I don't want to do any of those for now. All right. And so I'm going to tell it something else. I now want to upgrade it, right? Because the last instruction we gave it was build a skill on that, okay? So now I want to say, I want to upgrade this skill, okay, with the one we just read, right? So that when I run this skill, it automatically goes in and picks up the months and asks me which file I should reconcile, right? So there we go. All right, so while it's at that, it's doing this task for us. Now, the moment we're able now to do the updated skill, there are some terms now that we need to understand way beyond prompting, way beyond skilling. And now we go to what we call a scheduler. So now we've created our skill, we've upgraded it and given it a little more intelligence. Now, once we've done that, the next step is I want to schedule and update the skill so that every Monday at 6 p.m. East African Standard Time, it will open and check in that folder and reconcile any unreconciled files it finds, and then send me an email of the output. Okay, so I hope we've been following the logic step by step, because what would be great after this, we'll share these notes with you after the training. You get some time to go back and practice some of these things on your own. All right, so here is a skill. So it's asking if I should save the skill, okay? Let me save the skill. Okay. Field description skill must be at most difficulty. Okay. So let me save the skill. Giving me an interesting comment. The field description in skill MD must be at most. Let me see, what had I done? Okay, save. I don't know why it's complaining. I'm telling it to rename it. Okay, I hope it's done it for me. Oops. Must be. Okay. Okay, let me see if it will accept to save it now. Okay, it saved it, huh? Okay, so it's called monthly vendor. All right. So if you want to find a skill, you just do the slash, okay? And there you are, you pick it up. I don't want to work on that file. I just want to tell it to give it another instruction that we just saw. This one, how to update this skill. Okay, so that it comes and picks it up every Monday at 6 p.m. East African Standard Time. Okay. Okay. There we go. So that it updated. So that every Monday, 6 p.m., it picks it up. Right, while it's working on that, so that is what you call a scheduler. So I'm scheduling those tasks so that it routinely goes and picks up that information and runs it on its own and sends me an email of the output. So that is what the scheduler is. I know it's going to take a few minutes. Still thinking, yeah. Well, while we wait for it to come around, the next level after the scheduler is now where you start getting your agent AI kind of stuff. So there's what they call chaining of schedules. Now, the schedule we've done is purely for vendor supplier reconciliation. So I've created a schedule there. So what we've done is supplier reconciliation. So the supplier reconciliation process is not the single process that has to run within the organization. So there's probably a process that the financial accounting team has to follow to close the month, to close the trial balance. Then after the trial balance is closed, it's a whole different set of activities. Then after it's closed, then we can now run the reconciliation to reconcile the creditors. Then after reconcile the creditors, the next step probably is to email the statements through to the different creditors, querying any unreconciled items. So there's a range of all activities. So now a person who does the range of all those activities is what you call your agent AI. So agent AI has to be armed with tools and different schedules for it to be able to run at different times as you've scheduled it to. Let's go see what it's told us now. Okay, so it has updated it. Let me see if we can update the skill now. Yes, upload and replace. Okay, skill saved. Right, cool. So let's go find our skill and see if we can run it now. I don't know why it's. Okay, let's now thinking through it. Okay, so it came and asked me which month to reconcile. So I tell it, okay, let's go to August. So now it is done this because it's not yet Monday. Otherwise, if I had not processed this at all, this tip would have come up on Monday and have gone straight to reconcile those files. Okay, while it's working through that, I would like to take us back through to what process we followed to get here, just to make sure that I did not lose anyone along the way. So we learned how to create random data tables using, we did use Gemini on that, but we could have used any other AI tool. So that was a bit of a test to make sure that we know how to challenge AI to perform certain tasks. Then we went through the difference between a prompt, a skill, and an agent. So the prompt is what everyone does. I think before prompt should have been Googling, right? So we used to Google before they did prompts, then did the skill, and then agent. Then we used the prompt to perform a task. So we instructed Claude to perform a reconciliation. Then we looked at introduction to connectors. What are connectors? Connectors are interfaces between the AI tool and the different systems. Sometimes it could be an email. You could link it to your email to sort it for you and to generate for you replies. Then after the connectors, we went into seeing how to update a skill from a prompt. And that one was was quite simple. So we went to the prompt and asked AI, can you build a skill from this prompt? So once AI built the skill from the prompt, we started upgrading the skill and giving it more options. Like, okay, now next time before you run this skill, can you ask me which month I want to reconcile? So we enriched the skill that way. Then we went further from the skill and started scheduling it and telling it that please update my skill and create a schedule and say every Monday or every Tuesday at this time, please perform this exercise and save the file in the folder. Now, once we've moved from schedulers, now is where the step up to AI agent happens. So AI agent is a person that does so many of these schedules at the same time, and they follow each other. So you could have an AI agent whose job is to do a month-end close. So month-end close would be a series of schedules that have to run, and the AI can monitor how they run and know when to trigger the next one. So just to give you proper context, where else within finance can AI agents be used, all right? Month end, okay, we're about to get to the top of the hour when we can start asking some questions. So month end closure, okay? So it manages the sequences of the financial cycles by running multi-stage views. So you could have a scheduler for revenue analysis, for cost reviews, FP&A. Then it compiles all those and does them step by step and gives you a complete output. You can have one which is a general ledger reconciler. Okay, it does everything within the general ledger to reconcile. It reconciles creditors. It matches invoices against purchase orders, depending on the instructions. So you can see all these things are built up from bottom up. You have to go back and look at each individual task. And all those tasks are the ones that build up into what an agent can do. It's also used in audit. It can review financial statements for auditors, but you have to again give it an instruction and tell it what exactly you want it to do. Okay? Then there's also compliance monitor. It can track financial transactions against specific criteria. Transactions over $1,000, flag them and say, hey, the person who should approve this should be a manager at this level. I think I would like to stop there and yes, and we'll wait for any questions that you might have. And
Thank
back
you.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Mariam.
much, Mr. Paul Ikopit. Louis, my camera is off. I would love for you to put back my camera. I don't know why, but thank you so much, Mr. Paul Ikopit, our dear beloved audience. What you have seen Mr. Paul do is just a glimpse of something small of what we offer in our GSD courses. We have a course that is called agentic AI course. The agentic AI course definitely teaches you what you see Mr. Paul has done in this presentation that he has showed you. The agentic course AI, the agentic course, we have it on our platforms. Please, Louis, you can drop a link to our platform so that people can be able to register for that very agentic course, AI course, so that they can register and be able to go into depth and understand more about how to use AI to automate most of their procedures. Before we go into the Q&A, I just have just a small question for Mr. Paul before I welcome the audience. Mr. Paul Ikopit, I was observing that before you add in a scheduler into the workflow of how you have prompted, that procedure or whatever the AI does not become an agent there and then, not until you put in a scheduler. That's when it turns into an agent. Am I right or wrong?
No, I think you're in the right direction. You're in the right direction, because what an agent does is it performs a multitude of tasks, right? At the same time. So it's somebody who is your agent, not to do a particular task, but to do a group of tasks. So yes, you still need to go through that process to get to scheduler level before you can really have an agent to do their job.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Because what I've got to understand that in this era we are in, for anything that saves us time and money is worthy an investment. So our dear beloved audience, they have put the link below that will take you direct to that course for those that are really interested in knowing deeper and understanding more about what Mr. Paul has discussed today. You are very free to register. For those that feel that can't register and would love us to be able to reach out to them, you can put your number or your email in the chat. So we're welcoming questions. For those that have questions, the operator will allow the mic and camera to come in. For those that have questions, please raise your hands. Those that have questions, you can also put your questions in the chat as well. I know in this audience, we have accountants, we have auditors, we have business owners, we have people that are running small businesses. This is beautiful information that you all need and that can help you within your areas of specialty. Any question? Any question? No question. It seems people have understood. It seems people have really understood. I am seeing Mr. Anthony Kale from HLB Jim Roberts. You do not have any question for us? Hello? It seems our beloved audience, please tell us, did you really understand or any question? I think Louis, Mr. Okello he has put his hand up. Please give him the mic and you can give him the chance with the video.
Thank you, Mariam, and thank you, Paul. I hope I can be heard.
Yes,
yes, happy to see you, Paul. My question is one. My cameras may not. I'm trying to put it on for face validity. Oh.
Make sure you're not AI.
No, so what I want to ask Paul is in your I think instructions, you enabled the tool to reconcile from a specific folder which is saved in a destination that is known to you, on your desktop, on your OneDrive, and so forth. Now, you find yourself working in a space where you have shared folders accessed by many people, and for one reason or another, someone can change the naming of that folder. Will the tool remember that that folder has changed name, or it will fail to work because it cannot remember what has been said like? Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Basil. Now, I must be upfront on this one. I tried to get Claude read into my drive folder, and it really discouraged me from doing that. Yeah, it was only comfortable using my downloads folder, because each time it kept on warning me that there could be someone can maliciously attack your folder on this, and told me talk to your IT team first and make sure that you have a proper AI policy that can manage and ring fence where this where the AI connector can link to. So one thing I would highly recommend is your IT team to let you know how to do that. But you also have to have a shared policy to show, just like you have in your ERP system, who is allowed to read or write or change. So these same principles also apply to some of these schedulers. But rightly, as you said, if somebody goes and changes maybe the name of the file or the structure of a file, yes, the AI will get confused, but it will let you know that someone has actually gone and altered this, and that's the good part of it. It's intelligent enough to notify you. Otherwise, I know other systems tell you cannot complete task, right? But this one will actually go an extra step and let you know what has happened. But again, as we recommend, as always, your technical team, your technology team needs to be very, very, very fit and well aligned to managing AI before you start getting these connectors and reading into folders. I hope I answered you, Basil.
Thank you. Mr. Okello, I hope your answer has, your question has been answered.
Yes, madam, and thank you to Paul.
Question? Anyone with a question?
Well, how about people who have no IT teams, like business owners? I see a question there from Joseph, and Bobson has helped respond. It will not read from a folder that was changed name. And people who have no IT teams like private business, yes, I still highly recommend you talk to an IT colleague to give you guidance. You don't go into these things blindly. You might set yourself up for terrible things. Consult, talk to someone to help you with that. You must have a colleague or someone who's a friend who can give you advice. AI is very, very helpful, but can also be very dangerous and needs to be approached with serious caution. As I mentioned to you, I mean, I did this on my own, and it refused completely, despite me giving it access to my drive. It was comfortable just sitting and using my folder for downloads until there's certain certification from the AI team, I mean from the IT professionals.
Thank you so
And
much.
what's interesting that I'd really like to encourage the audience is, I mean, I'm not IT person. What I'm doing is just AI is that has enabled me to do what I can do. So AI is very useful. Do the training, do the courses. It's such a powerful tool that you don't need to have an IT background to be able to maximize its benefits.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Do we still have more questions? I think, Mr. Paul, people no longer have questions. I think since they have really understood.
Mariam, are you able
Yes,
to
please.
drop the file into the chat, or will you email it out to the attendees later?
I'm able to drop it into the chat, but still, I'll also email it to the people that have been able to attend today's webinar to benefit from it. But as per now, I can still share it here.
Okay.
So that people can have access to it. Just give me a few minutes. I download it so that I'll drop it in the chat.
Okay.
Let me share it with Louis. On my side, it's not working. And then he will be able to share it in the chat.
Okay, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yes.
Okay, I hope everyone will enjoy that. I hope you're now going to graduate from prompting into scaling and scheduling at the worst.
Louis, Mr. Joseph, Louis, they're going to put that the training manual or the training objective here in the chat so that you can have access to the information, and do not forget to subscribe to all our social media platforms. That's where we put all our information in regards to upcoming masterclasses and workshops that are being organized and sponsored by Vision Africa, GSBC, HLB, and NBS and our other more partners. Stuart, it was a wonderful engagement. A lot picked up. Thank you so much. It has been a helpful session, especially users beyond just prompting. Yes, we have very many courses that can teach you more than prompting. But for those that are new in the AI world, we have courses that can introduce you to prompt engineering, that can introduce you to generative AI, and you're able to prompt and command AI the way you need or the way you want to command it for it to give you better results. So we really encourage you, people in our audience, to take up our courses. Please, Louis, you can drop the link to our course, to our courses here so that people can go and enroll for the courses. Thank you so much. I don't know if we have anyone who would like to give us a word before we close up. Is Dr. James on? Dr. James, our CEO of Vision Africa AI. I don't know if he's on. I think he's not on. There is another session that is going to run from 6 p.m. going forward with lead. I think Louis, Mr. James is on mute. I think unmute him. He's unable to mute. Please give him that room so that he can tell us something before we close out on this session. Please, Louis, give our chairman, Vision Africa, help. You can upgrade him to presenter. Louis?
All right, I'm just confirming the name. Just a moment.
Yes,
I see
it's
two
written on
James.
James.
All
Yes.
right. Okay.
Yes, upgrade him to presenter so that he can say hello to our audience before we go out of this session.
All right. I hope that's okay.
Yes, yes. Our dear audience, the link is in the chat. The link is in the chat, and please, you can tap that link he has dropped the training objective that we have had today. Please tap on that link so that you don't have to look out for that information after this presentation or after this webinar is done. Please tap that link. That's where the training objective that Mr. Paul Ikopit has used to guide us through this training that you can use to practice. Encouraging you to tap that link. Louis, I think Doctor is raising his hand up. If you're able to access
I think
the
I've
link and
upgraded
able
the
to
different games. Let me upgrade the other.
upgrade both gems, it's okay. Upgrade both of them. Our beloved audience, please, if you have been able to download the document, you can just put a thumbs up on the link that it was successful, that you've been successful. You can tap on the link in the chat and you let us know that you have been able to access the training manual or the training objective that has been used for this session. You're most welcome, Chairman. You're most welcome to this session. You're most welcome.
Thank you so much, Mariam. Thank you so much, Paul. This has been very, very insightful. I think for people who had never seen what an agentic AI looks like, they have been able to get a real feel of what it is. Thank you for taking us through that. Thank you, Luz, too, in giving the technical support to this webinar. I want to say thank you so much to all the participants who are in. I thank you for committing your time to learn. I encourage everyone to continue learning because we really need to get this thing. We need to demystify artificial intelligence. And for those who register as our participants, trainees, if you are going to learn artificial intelligence, of course, our courses are available on the website in the links that have been given, but it also comes complimentary with a boot camp, a free boot camp of 15 hours for 1 week, where you are taken through, generative AI, you are taken through prompt engineering, and then, of course, agentic AI. So these sessions are available for those who have registered with us to do the training, and you can get a week's training of 15 hours, which is really, really good to take you deeper into this subject matter. So thank you so much, Paul, for giving very practical examples, especially for those who are accountants and auditors. I'm sure you've got a very good feel of what this is all about. So I want to encourage you that whenever you see our links, you see our invitations for webinars, please feel free to join. We really don't want to leave anyone behind. We should all move together and be able to upgrade our skills and even build AI agents. I now build AI agents for almost anything in my workflow. Last weekend, I was building an agent to help me organize my emails, messages coming through the Teams application. So once I flag an email as important, the AI automatically picks that message and creates a task and posts it to a planner. Planner is another application within Microsoft environment. And the planner, of course, has what they call buckets, which is certain categories of information, whether it is my inbox, whether it is my, waiting list, whether it is something to be delegated, whether it's something I will do, but it's not urgent, I'll do it in the future. So it does all that. It organizes the information. These days, I get what I call a daily briefing report. I've scheduled mine at 5 a.m. in the morning. I get a report of what are the emails which came in, what messages are urgent, which meetings I should attend, and also whether it can give RSVP to some of the invitations if I am not able to attend. And if I'm not, then whom am I delegating? So all those decisions are organized by that AI agent. So my work becomes really easy. And I'm no longer worried that I might miss an email and maybe miss a meeting or miss something important, because it will give me a report every morning. Before I start my day, I go through the report. It guides me on what's important today and what should I schedule. And this is really the power of artificial intelligence. And everyone should really be entitled to this. I don't see why you should continue keeping things in your head in manual notebooks when the technology is already available. So thank you so much, Paul, for this enlightening session. Thank you to the moderator, Mariam, for this very, very excellent moderation. I also want to take this chance to thank our partners, especially Next Media Group, which helps us in disseminating this information. And of course, other partners like the Uganda Institute of Banking and Financial Services, and of course, HLB Jim Roberts, where I'm also the managing partner. There's been a lot that support that they have given us. And I want to say thank you so much. It is almost coming to the top of the hour, and maybe it's time that we can sign off. We have another session for those who signed off to the League of South African Director session this evening. That's where our managing director is going to be one of the panelists, Mr. Julius Storach. Probably is not here with us. He's preparing for the next session, which is going to be an international session as well for the League of South African Directors. All right, thank you so much. And over back to you, moderator. You are at leisure to bring it to a close. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I don't know if you can. Thank you so much, Mr. James Okelo-Onyein. It has been a pleasure. And thank you to our beloved audience for coming and sparing your beloved time to come and learn. The more you learn, the more you'll be able to ease work for you, save time, and make more money, obviously. The reason is why we are learning how to use all these AI agents. We are looking for places and ways of making more money through saving time, automating tasks and processes. And with that all, allow me to say goodbye and have a blessed evening to you all. Bye-bye.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you and bye-bye.